Hello, I'm Laura Lee.
Hello, I'm Helena.
Welcome to our show. We're talking, I don't know, October we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking
Hello.
about.
Yeah, we are talking about this coming month, October, and all of the transits and stuff going on. We have eclipse season coming.
So tell us what an eclipse season is. I've heard this
Okay.
tossed around so much, and I feel like so many people do not understand that term, including eclipses are not something I've studied much of.
Yeah. Okay, so eclipse season is not like Libra season when it's the same time of the year every year. Um, okay, so let me begin by telling you what a solar eclipse is.
Okay.
A solar eclipse happens when, so we have the Earth in the middle, and we have the moon, and then we have the sun. A solar eclipse is when the moon is in between the Earth and the sun, so we don't see. Yeah, because that's on a new moon.
Correct.
The sun and moon is on the same position, so you don't see the sun. Okay.
Got it. Yep.
A lunar eclipse is when the Earth is blocking the light from the sun to illuminate the moon, and we cannot see the moon. And this happens sort of at different angles, different years. So they happen in pairs. And if you know the zodiacal wheel, you know that like Aries is opposite Virgo, and so on, so on. So if you have the like in the big, anyway, so it moves. So the eclipse season does not fall in the exact same month or like
it could be, but
it
it's
moves.
still opposite itself,
but it's still opposite, just as the full moon. It shifts a little bit. So we've had a lot of like in the spring and last year we had a lot of eclipses in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio in that axis, and now it's moving.
Okay.
So now we have Libra.
And earlier this year we had Aries.
And earlier this year we had Aries.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So it's always moving a little bit. So the eclipse, when I say season, it's because the solar and lunar eclipse happens within 2 weeks of each other. So the eclipses always happen in pairs. And that's what you call the eclipse season. It's those 2 weeks, and then a week before and a week after the last one, because this energy states. These are like, you could say that the lunar eclipse is a full moon on steroids, and I guess you could say then that the solar eclipse is like a new moon on steroids. It's a lot of energy going around, like a lot. Right. So then you can count like a week before that. So all in all, I would say it's like a month that is eclipse season.
Okay. That the energetics of it is being felt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So when this shows up on steroids, it's erratic, right? That's what I'm imagining. There's this kind of erraticness, or this, I don't know, muchness. I was just watching Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp, and he was talking about her losing her muchness. And I was like, I love that. He's like, your muchness is gone. So I feel like there's almost like this too much energy. Like it's almost, the pendulum is swinging too far. Would that be a good description?
I don't think I would agree. I mean, I know what you mean, but I feel like it's always, this is an energy that we need to have this. It happens. We have 2 eclipse seasons per year and we need them. I mean, actually some years we have more, but that's very rare. Like some months we actually have 2 full moons. It's rare, but it happens. So usually we have 2 eclipse seasons per year. And this is times where you clean the slate that is your life. And you it's all about sudden things with eclipses. Like you never know what's gonna hit you. You never know what's gonna leave your life, and you don't know what's gonna come into your life.
Like the shadow causes this kind of almost like this darkness, confusion. I was just watching a
Yeah.
paranormal show last night, and they, in the dark, like this poltergeist ended up moving all kinds of stuff in the middle of the room when they had the lights out for just like 30 seconds. And it was this crazy activity, and very, very sudden in this shadow period, there was this massive shift. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Paranormal show.
So so I wouldn't say that it's like too much energy. It's more, I mean, of course it can be challenging. Like full moons, some people think it's too much to handle, with a full moon. It's a lot of emotions. But it's up to you to sort of take a step back, observe, or be in it and let it flow through you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a time, that needs to be said. Eclipses it's not a good time to like start big projects. Like, you don't start things on eclipses. You observe what's going on around you and you go with it, and you just let, like that Carrie Underwood song, you let Jesus take the wheel. Like,
Right.
you really do. You just step back and you let universe do its job. And it's not easy, because things can happen, and some things can happen, and at first you think that it's bad things, and then a few weeks later you realize, oh, that was a blessing in disguise. That thing
Right.
needed to leave my life so that I could do this other thing. So it's not too much energy. It's just that we need to be shaken up. We need to have our plates or our slates cleaned, our palates cleansed.
So with the solar eclipse versus the lunar eclipse, what would you say the major difference is there with the way things
So
show up or the way things change?
yeah, lunar eclipse, that happens on a full moon. So, and that is like the full moon on steroids. So that is all about like letting go, like very much don't, like don't, no manifestations, just leaving things.
Like almost like allowing the flood to come and just take it away and cleanse the
Sort
earth
of,
energy,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
you energetically. Okay. Okay.
Exactly. Like, let that wave crash over you, and then
Yeah.
let's see what it takes from you, and maybe it gave you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you end
Okay.
up with like a seashell on your head or something. Um, but that's the energetics of the lunar eclipse. And the solar eclipse that happens when it's a new moon, it's mm, it's a little bit different, because new moons are about beginnings. And new moons usually is a good time to manifest, but I would not say that eclipse time is a good time to manifest, even though it's a new moon. But I think that you can see a pattern of, on solar eclipses, new things are coming in. Maybe new things are starting, not things that you maybe manifested, or maybe not things that you took action to, but like things are starting, things are coming back up into your life, maybe that you have been missing, that you forgot about. And then the lunar eclipses are like, okay, and then what do we need to take? What do we need to
So
let go of?
for this month, the new moon or the solar eclipse happens October 14th. And that's at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I found this interesting. I was just looking at the degrees, and it says, and the solar eclipse happens at 21 degrees and 8 minutes of Libra, affecting people born with personal planets at those points, approximately 16 to 26 degrees in any of the cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. So that's my Saturn, which is, many of the people born around, I'm March 29th. So many people born around March 29th, 1982 have this Saturn placement. But I'm just curious, like how thinking about like the manifestation of like, what would this energy look like affecting that planet specifically, this planet of maturing and hard work and karma. But for me, it happens to be in the fifth house of like hobbies and play and creativity, which you said it kind of brings things forward. And I'm like, I have not been doing my art. And we were talking just before we recorded, like I'm craving alone time. I'm desperate for it. My 5 children are amazing, but we are now at this 5-month point with the baby where he's interested in life and he wants attention and he wants to be entertained and he wants his mama and he knows it. And the 2-year-old is very sweet and mama, I miss you, mama. I miss, like, sweet as pie. And like I'm craving this mama time with them and oh my God, get me out of here. Right. So I'm having to find balance with this Libra and I'm not doing very well at it. So I'm just curious, like, how this might look for me. Like, I'm working
Mm.
on better self-care. I'm working on better harmony and peace and balance between work and creativity and play and the kids and the family and the farm and like how do I keep all that in harmony? I don't
Mm.
freaking know.
Yeah.
God.
And yeah, so what we said earlier before recording is that that the solar eclipse for you opposite to Saturn will be reminding you of the things that you that are important to you
Mm-hmm.
and that you need to, Saturn reminds us of like where we need to go in life, our karma, like this is what you need to do, remember.
Need to be
So
responsible about this. And Laura, you need to do art,
yeah,
damn it.
you need to be responsible about having fun and be creative, you know that's what it is asking you to do. So I would say that that would be something like that could be popping up for
Yeah.
you. It could also have to do because it's the 5th house. It doesn't have to be about making art. It could be with your kids, because it rules kids as well.
Yeah, it does.
Romantic time
Ooh, romance
next
sounds
time.
nice. I know hubby and I
Mm.
were planning a getaway, even just an overnight. And I actually called my mom. I was like, okay, I'm ready to be away from the baby for a night, so you can come hang out here, please, like now.
Mm.
So maybe this would be a good time, this October 14th, to do that. It's a Saturday. I don't have anything on my calendar.
Oh,
I just looked.
yeah, amazing.
That's a good time to just go be away for a night and just
Yeah.
sit in a hot tub and have some romance. Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it does. Sounds like a Daniel Steele novel.
I
But
think
I feel like these
figured out
eclipses. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think I just figured out how that's gonna manifest. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Uh, Eclipses feel so magical.
Mm,
So even if you don't, I mean, I don't know too much about eclipses. We haven't really. That's not something that we have been diving down into.
not much,
Uh,
no.
no, I know very little about it, but I feel like you don't need to know so much. Just if you take the time on the solar eclipse
Yeah.
or the lunar eclipse or both, and just sort of sit with the energy.
Yep.
Don't manifest, just sit with it
Yep.
and sort of observe what's going on around you
Yeah.
and let the magic sort
Mm.
of happen.
Let it
And I'm
flow.
not saying with magic, I don't mean like only good things are going to happen. I mean,
Right.
the magic of life, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because typically, with anything, there's got to be that Plutonian energy of destruction and creation, right? Something's got to be destroyed in order to create. I always think about that when I look at a canvas before I paint. There's this beautiful white canvas, and that's going to be destroyed when I
Yeah.
create. It's
Mm,
okay, right?
that's
So the
true.
dates of these eclipses are October 14th, and then the full moon lunar eclipse is actually in Scorpio season, and that's October 28th at 4:24 p.m. Eastern time. So October 28th that's happening at 5 degrees and 9 minutes in Taurus. So
Mm,
opposite the sun at 5 degrees and 9 minutes in Scorpio. So
mm,
this will affect people with fixed signs or anything in the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius in that like 0 to 10 degree range. So
mm,
check your charts, see how this will affect you. Just knowing the other one, the new moon solar eclipse, is highlighting for me what I see. I was like, now it's starting to interpret a little bit better in my head. Is as soon as you said romance, I was like, oh, my marriage has definitely been kind of on that back burner for a while, right? While we've been in like postpartum land and farming land and produce land and all of that. And I think being mature and responsible about creating time and space for romance
Mm.
and highlighting that is probably what that is going to do for us. And it's also for me in my chart, it's trying to Venus. So
Oh,
extra little hit of romance there.
yeah. Yeah.
So by the exact degree. So we are close on that with making sure that that is lit up for us. So I think not, like you said, not manifesting, but just flowing with the energy. And I literally 2 days ago, not even, looked at Philip and I was like, when are we going somewhere? And he's like, I don't know yet. And well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
I just decided October
Yeah.
14th somewhere.
Perfect. That's not so far away.
No, it's
And
not.
also with the because this past spring we had another full moon eclipse
Yep.
in the sign of with the axis of Scorpio and Taurus, and it is said that you look back this coming now lunar eclipse, you look back to the previous one that happened in, what was this, April,
May 5th.
May 5th, exactly. You look back to that date and think about what happened in your life around that time. And sort of that, 6 months later, which will be the one coming up now, that things have come sort of to fruition, and you will see sort of the story, how the story has been playing out for this last 6 months, because that's also a little bit how they work, these eclipses. Like they start and end stories in 6-month cycles for us, because they are so powerful and strong. But what in my chart is being hit by this lunar eclipse?
Tell me.
My ascendant will be square 1 degree off, square to the to the new moon eclipse.
From the new moon. Yeah.
New
So
moon
you
eclipse,
are gonna
solar eclipse.
and it's square.
Ha.
So square energy is a little bit more tension filled.
Exactly. So, I feel like, yeah, for sure, there'll be some tension around myself, pretty much how I appear and how I appear in this world, how I choose to and not choose to go through this world, like where my Capricorn is.
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah, you got to be mature about something too.
Yeah, exactly. Saturn rules Capricorn.
Interesting. So we have a couple other transits going on this month we can talk about. Mercury's going to
Yeah.
slide into Libra on the 4th. So we've had the analytical energy of Mercury and Virgo for a while with that retrograde. And so we got to experience a good dose of Mercury in an earth sign. And now we get to lighten things up with the air energy of Libra. So once Mercury moves into that air sign, then there's like the flow of thought happens a little bit quicker. Things move a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And you may be thinking more harmoniously. What maybe things haven't been as peaceful and there hasn't been much harmony in your life, and you would like to change your thoughts about that. So you could do things like listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, listen to things to implement and change the way you've been thinking, right? Maybe you need some mantras or affirmations or, different music. This is going to be a music energy because Libra is very much a ruler of music. And so listening to some music that inspires you, maybe lifts you up, right? Changes the thought patterns from Virgo, which can be a little bit heavy, a little bit analytical, a little bit judgmental sometimes, not always, but sometimes, to a little bit lighter energy of, oh, let's have some more harmony, right? There's songs I listen to that are, it's like manifestation music and feminine empowerment and really like just owning yourself and owning your worthiness and your self-esteem, right? It's very uplifting. And there's a line that I love from one of them. I cannot think of who it is. I'll put it in the show notes when I think of it. But it says, I raise a glass to all the bitches I cut off. Gotta love you from afar if you're refusing to evolve. And I'm like, I feel that, right? Like it's not that I don't love you or love like you or whatever. It's just like the growth sometimes happens when we grow apart, and that's everybody's on their own journey. And so thinking differently and teaching yourself to think in this more harmonious way, if your friendships aren't serving you, if something's draining you, right? Libra wants you to really have much more healthy balance, which I don't.
Mm.
I don't right
Yeah.
now. As we're recording, I have an interesting inflammatory response in my jaw, my left jaw, where I have a dental implant. Now I have several other dental implants and they never do this. It's just this one particular location. And I've looked into the energetics of it and I've had some Reiki done on it, and this is not the first time this has happened. And this inflammation follows within 24 hours of me having a migraine, which means I'm not taking care of myself.
Mm.
And my body's not in harmony. I mean, like, it's very clear. And I'm still in the Virgo energy, and I have to be more disciplined and analytical about the things I eat and the way I'm taking care of myself. So that's just an example for me. But when Mercury moves into Libra on October 4th, we get to experience a little bit lighter thought process, but
Yeah.
focused more on harmony and peace. But
Mm.
music will play a big role for a while.
Yeah. I feel like this. I feel this because we had this Mercury retrograde this time around happen in only Virgo, like it went back and forth in only
Yeah, it
one
did
sign. That's
switch
Virgo.
sign.
Yeah, yeah. So Virgo, just Mercury and Virgo was just like revisiting old thoughts, revisiting, projects, like everything's being slowed down. Earth sign also, so getting very nitty-gritty about like the past mistakes and stuff like that. And now we're going into a lighter vibe because it's air sign.
Yep,
So I'm looking forward to that.
for real.
Mm. And do you see what's happening on October 8th?
Yes, we have Venus moving on into Virgo. So she's trekking into there. And so check where the houses are, and where Virgo is in your chart, because that will help you understand where your values are going to be focused. Because Venus
Hmm.
is our values and the things that we love and the things we love to do. So this might be a time where, if it's in your fourth house, where you love to organize your space or clean up and be more disciplined, maybe fix some things that are broken. I got broken drawer slides that are driving me nuts, and I can promise you those are going to get fixed very soon. It's coming. I can feel it. So if your Virgo is in your ninth house, you may want to take a new course and learn something, do an online program, or enroll in a school, local classes or whatever. So
Mm.
there's all kinds of things that you can learn from your chart when you just look at these transits and where they're happening and
Exactly.
where to
See
lean.
how's they're happening in
Yeah. Yeah. Where's Virgo in your house or your chart again? What house?
7.
7. Partnership.
Yeah.
Ooh, so that's more analytical about the dates and more structured dates and attention. And how else could that show up with partnership?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this partnership as well, like you and me,
Oh yeah.
like getting more maybe detailed about uh when we record, how we do things. I need
Yeah.
to get a better microphone, like things like that.
We've been talking about like the financial aspect. How can we
Yeah.
grow it a little bit more? How can we bring in some income? Like, yeah, yep, I can
Yeah.
see that coming. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you know what's also happening on October 8th?
What else? Tell me.
We're having Mars square to Pluto.
Ooh. I don't like that one as much.
So Mars is
Not terrible, but
no. But when we have Mars and Pluto making an aspect to each other, we're talking about two planets that has to do a lot with power. Like those two are the more like, sorry?
intensity.
Yeah, intensity and power and like I think about like, yeah, brute force sometimes with Mars. So these are going to be in a, did I say square? I did say square. Yeah, in a square position to each other, which is that more uncomfortable tension that doesn't mean that the universe wants to set us up to do bad. It just wants to set us up to learn things, because it's a tension that you need to practice so that you learn how to live with that energy and learn how to use it and in the best way possible, because these are two, I mean, these are two super powerful planets. So why not, yeah, things can get like maybe power struggles with your boss or with your partner or like everywhere in the world.
Now
But
Pluto's in
also
Capricorn. Mars will be in. Will it be in Scorpio at that time or
in
Libra?
Libra
Yep.
of like partnerships. And so yeah, it's nice that we actually have Mars in Libra for this one.
Right.
I like
Softer.
that softens everything up a little bit. Because then Mars, the drive for Mars will be to have balance and harmony. But yeah, imagine what we can use with these two powerful planets. Imagine how, I mean, all the like that energy, what we could do with it if we choose to and we learn how to use it.
If it's channeled properly, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I mean, when you've got Mars, I've got Mars in Libra natally. It's really, really driven to be respectful, have respect. Like there's this like a kindness, respect drive in me. I feel. So if we were to like use that
Mm.
to to make respect happen in
Yeah,
whatever way, like how amazing would that be?
yeah, because then you could have like, yeah, Mars is in Libra, partnership, finding the balance,
Mhm.
and then Pluto is in Capricorn, death and
Structure,
destruction,
foundation.
but building things up, like making it super structured, taking down the old
And doing the
structures to
work.
rebuild,
Yeah, to
to
do the
doing
work.
the work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I can feel that even with my own partnership and my own marriage is, it's we are very, very connected, doing very well for the situation we're in, right? But are we doing well? Are we connecting? Well, sort of barely, right? I mean, like we wave at each other like, "Hi, I miss you. Can we have a hug soon?" Right? But our daily life is just that right now. But I can see where we definitely need to carve out more time for us, whether that's
Mm.
a 15-minute walk every day or specific date nights where now we do overnights now that the baby's a little bit older or something like that, right? Like very disciplined specific things of just like getting some space away and working on that partnership. So using the
Mm.
drive of Mars in Libra to create a new foundation
Yeah.
with Pluto in Capricorn. I like that.
Mm. And that's going to be exact October 8th until October 10th.
Okay.
So because Mars moves slowly and Pluto even slower, it's a longer transit, and you'll probably start to feel this, I would say, at least 2 days before and 2 days after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
October 9th, we have Venus opposite Saturn.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Venus
Oh.
opposite Saturn. It's not too terrible. Anytime Venus
No.
is in aspect, it's softer. Venus is one of the like happiness planets. It's the beneficial planet. So it's brings you more peace and harmony. So opposite Saturn in my mind would shine a light, which I need again, on the things that value to you and being mature and working hard
Yeah,
on them. Making sure
exactly.
you're doing the things that you actually value and not what other people value, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because we have Saturn there that always reminds us what to do and like about what we need to, like all the homework that we need to do this lifetime.
Yep.
And yeah, the opposite position is that tension again. So it will remind us, it could be reminding us in like a way of like, oh, your bank account is almost empty. Or
Yep.
like, what happened? That thing cost a lot more than it should have cost. And that's not a gentle reminder. It could be a gentle reminder. It could also be a very terrible thing because you might not have money
Well,
to
yeah.
eat.
Well, and Saturn tends to cause restrictions.
Yeah,
That's really one of the things he does, but he causes restrictions so you can really focus on those important things that do matter
yeah,
to you. So, do you need to go to the concert and buy those tickets, or do you need to pay your phone bill, or, get some food?
yeah. And it always wants us to do the mature thing. So that would be the phone bill, you guys.
Right.
Actually, who knows? But that was just a very like that answer. I don't really like that answer because that might not be right. Because that's just what we're taught to do. Oh
Right.
well, skip the second. Blah blah blah. Moving on. Moving on.
Someone in your
Uh,
Capricorn mind wanted to argue with that. That's fun.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
that usually happens in my mind. I say something and I'm like, actually, I think the opposite. But I think it's my Venus in Gemini. I keep like changing my mind and keep seeing different,
Girl,
you know, changing my values.
Gemini, I'm telling you, I feel that.
Yeah,
The 12th Mars moves into Scorpio. So,
powerful.
so on the 12th, we have a new energetic drive driver in the car of life here. Mars is the action, the go juice. I call it the go juice. So now the wind is not propelling us anymore. With the air sign of Libra, now we are going deep into the submarine of Scorpio. So Mars is now coming out of the sky down into the depths of the ocean. So now it's time to kind of go into that intense inner world, explore down there.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
like
like
that,
that
and
energy?
I do like it, and I feel like it this time it comes at the right time seasonally. It's happening in Scorpio, almost Scorpio season,
Right?
when yeah, like it's fall and
Because
everything that
sometimes it doesn't
fall means.
happen at the Mars moves, obviously a lot slower than the inner planets, Mercury and Venus, but it doesn't always line up where it goes through Scorpio in the fall. It just happens
Mm,
to be this year that it does. But I love Mars and Scorpio because my sixth house of daily routines is where my Scorpio is. And my drive to like go deep in just cleaning out my space and redoing and purging and like getting all of the inside the corners of the closets and like, oh my God, I love it. And my Jupiter's here too. So it's just like, this is actually a weird feel good time for me. This is the time of year where I just feel the best energetically with that
mm,
Jupiter and then Mars going over the top of that. It just kind of creates that big drive for me to do daily routines and organize my daily routines and my habits and go big with my habits and reset everything. This is like a resetting for me
mm,
personally. So I love the way it shows up for me when Mars goes into Scorpio. It's like one of my
mm.
favorites.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like this too, and I'm so excited. I'm actually really excited that it's fall now.
I know.
Yeah, it's so I can feel everything just slowing down around me, and like I feel myself slowing down and going more inwards in a really nice way, and just everything's quieting down, sort of.
Yeah. Well, we still got produce first, but soon it
Yeah,
will quiet down.
yeah,
I
yeah.
sent you a bunch of pictures this weekend of our land is changing colors and everything's turning bright, bright red. And we got
Mm,
just pounds and pounds and pounds of produce just everywhere
yeah.
on every surface. We are up all night processing produce, but it's okay. We love it. I love this time of year. So what else we got going on in this October
We
month?
Well, we have on October 12th, Mars will be trine to Saturn.
That same day, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Mars goes into Scorpio and will be trine to Saturn. And this, yeah, so Saturn is about like reminding us what lessons we need to keep doing
Mm-hmm.
to succeed at life, and Mars is our drive. But this trine will make it like a really nice flow, so it will come to us way easier. Like
Mm-hmm.
we'll still face the obstacle, but the solution will be like closer to us,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Easier to grab, like you don't have to jump over as many
Hurdles.
things, yeah,
I
to
feel like
get
there's just
to,
going to be a flow to it. Just with
yeah.
them both being in the water elements, Pisces and Scorpio, there's just this, it'll be intense, but it's this intense flow of like just, you ever go down water slides at a water park?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's an intensity but there's a flow to it. Just,
Yeah.
I love that. That
Yeah, I
feels,
like this too.
it feels like a mature time too, a time to really take a look at, I don't know, anytime Saturn's involved, I'm always like, it's time to grow up.
It is.
Grow up
It's I
now.
feel like it's way too many times it's asking us to grow up, but I guess we need to grow a lot. I mean, that's pretty much all we're doing all the time. We're just growing, growing,
That's
growing.
what the whole Earth school experience is, to grow up. Woohoo! Thanks, Saturn.
Yeah.
So that'll
And
happen both in Scorpio. I love that, on October 12th. And then the 14th is the eclipse. New
exactly, the 14th is the, yep, solar eclipse in Libra. And yeah, so that will happen very close to the Saturn trying to Mars.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's just 2 days later.
Yeah. So yeah, this is when the eclipse comes, just try and take the back seat and just watch whatever comes into your life, because it's all about, yeah, sudden things with eclipses. Like think of like a tornado, like things just fly in and fly out, pretty much.
Pretty
you
much.
you
Yep.
can't, yeah, you can't really plan for this, so there's no point in trying to, and please don't try to, because the magic of life is also to just let these things happen. This is the way it should happen. You don't know, you know, far from everything, you know, we know so little.
And we really
um
only know it after it happens,
yeah.
right? Like, it's, we
Yeah.
only know it in retrospect. That's the only time it really hits us.
Yeah. Yeah. So just even more so now, don't get caught up and confused and like try and fight change. Go with it, because otherwise it will just, you know, it will just be harder. Change is going to happen either you want it or not. You just need to accept and move on, go with the river or something.
I got Virgo moving, or Juno, the asteroid Juno moving into Virgo. We don't talk about her very much, but she's the
No,
asteroid of like marriage and long-term partnership, and she moves into Virgo on the 17th. So we'll have Venus and Juno both in Virgo for a while. So when I saw that, and I wanted to point that out, because when I saw that, that really kind of
I
sparked
like
this,
that.
like, you've got to focus on your partnership, your connector, your whoever is your buddy, your bestie, your lover, your marriage partner, I don't care, right? But whatever that intimate partnership is that you have, whether it's a sibling or whatever, you've got to really connect and work on the details of your partnership, right? Work on like the foundational earthy energy. And Virgo's mutable, so it's changeable. I like to think of it as like the tilled soil, right? You can play with it. Potting soil, you can move it around. So if your relationship needs a shift, this is a good time to do it. And somebody in my head is like, take note.
Mm.
This is a good energy to do it, is that mid October time to start the process anyway.
Mm.
So what else we got?
Well, then let's see, where are we now?
So that was the 17th. What happens after that?
No, 17th. Then we have Sun conjunct Mercury. That's very quick. Mercury and Sun travels together, pretty much. In everyone's birth chart, wherever you have your Sun, Mercury will be either in the same sign, the one before or the one after. Like they always travel.
Yep.
They travel together. We also have Mercury square to Pluto for a minute there, October 20th and 21st. That could be a time when your thinking goes a little bit more obsessive.
Yep.
Could say
Obsessive, a little bit more
compulsive.
power struggle in your mind of like maybe what you should be doing, decision making challenges.
Exactly. And then on October 21st, the Sun will be square to Pluto.
That's a bigger one. That's an intense day. So this happens twice a year, Sun square Pluto, unless of course there's a no, it'd be just twice a year, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like if there's a retrograde, I'm like the sun doesn't retrograde. That doesn't happen. So twice a year this happens. So there's definitely going that I just see power struggle. That just feels that as a mom, that is in my brain and on my calendar of like watch for power struggles with my kids. I can guarantee you I will probably instantly wake up October 21st and just feel it in our DNA.
Yeah, I feel like that Mars square to Pluto, that is more a little bit more outside of us. Like that would be sort of our drive fighting with like what we want, fighting with maybe authority or like with someone else that, power struggle with that. But the Sun square to Pluto, the Sun is you. Like that is vitality. That is So that is it's a little bit harder because whenever you have something challenging your ego in any way, I mean, that is uncomfortable.
And think of what siblings do to each other.
Oof.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. They do Sun square Pluto all the time.
Their job is to be a Sun square Pluto. That's their job.
Yeah.
So this
is
like
Saturn square Sun.
Right? Take note of the family dynamics. This might happen between partners. This might happen between siblings, between parent and children. I feel that one. But October 21st, just maybe take some deep breaths all day. Put your oils on, play some music that makes you feel good. Maybe send the kids to grandma's if you can, right? Go away.
I think it could be very easy this day to feel like those bad juju vibes, those bad feelings within. I don't know about anxiety and depression, but I feel like you will have a day when you're very frustrated. You have like a very frustrated feeling inside, and like when you do something and then like a loved one points out like, oh, you just did that thing and you have been doing that thing. You're like, no, I don't. And they're like, well, I know you and I see exactly where this comes from. And they pull it out and it's so uncomfortable because it's true and you don't want to look at it. And that's sort of this vibe.
You hit the nail on the head. Yep. And the sun will still be in Libra that day. So just at the tail end of Libra, and Libras, think about this in the way a lawyer works, right? Lawyers are so good at finding these little details. Very, very detailed. It's right near Virgo and Libra, very detail oriented energies. So, that could feel, like you said, a little bit scrutinizing, right? Like what are you doing? What is that for? What, not necessarily in a bad way, but they just call you out on something.
Yeah.
Like you're at a jury trial and you're like, oh my God.
Uncomfortable.
So
uncomfortable. And I think the best thing to do here is just own up to it and thank this transit for showing you those really uncomfortable and the sides of you that not even you want to look at. You don't even want to accept that they're there because they're like the bad sides of you. But we all have bad sides we need to work on and
exactly.
And then
we ride that wave right into the next day, the 22nd. Mercury moves into Scorpio, and then the next day the sun moves into Scorpio. So guess we're going under, guys. There's an Evanescence song. Right? Like, we're going. Here we go. So just know that we're going to the land down under with that Scorpio intensity. So Mars will have made its trek into Scorpio, and then we're going to have this Sun square Pluto, which has that scorpionic energy, and then we've got Mercury into Scorpio the 22nd, and the Sun into Scorpio 23rd.
And then we have the lunar eclipse.
Then we have the lunar eclipse.
So yeah, like definitely this all just screams out, go inside. Go inside and like, but like be kind, like just let it flow, go inside, but let it, emotions and all the things that's happening outside of you just go through you, and like, okay, this is happening over there, cool, so that thing is happening over there. I don't know what that's gonna do to me, but you know,
it's gonna change you because Scorpio loves transformation.
Yeah,
it is time to transform. So just like how crystals are made and all of the beautiful things on the earth, they have to go through an intense transformation. You know, I think about the pressure of it, right? The pressure of that can feel really awful. So this is a good time of year. If you've been thinking about doing therapy and you haven't taken action, this would be a good time to take action. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with Venus in Virgo, like we want to be more disciplined about our health and the health of ourself and value our health more. And in order to have healthy relationships with others, we have to have a healthy relationship with ourselves and value ourself and our daily needs, which is Virgo. So Venus in Virgo, I think, is going to help us with all of these scorpionic changes and transformations we need to be undergoing. So if you haven't done therapy and you're thinking about it, this would be a great time. If you haven't done an astrology reading and you're thinking about it, this would be a great time to learn the inner workings of you.
Yeah.
And cool music in the background. So that's an intense weekend right there. The 21st, 22nd, and then Monday the 23rd. That's just, be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself as we dive deep.
Yeah. And I was telling you earlier too, like my greatest tip for you was to go to the forest about a thing. And because I went to the forest yesterday and it's already fall and everything is like moist and orange and brown, and the decay has begun, like, and I really love that. It just gets me going because it's just so lovely and amazing to see nature. Like we can learn so much just by looking at nature and seeing death isn't supposed to be scary. Death is a necessity. Yes. Things need to, like, leaves need to fall to the ground, decay into the ground, become warm food that produces nutrients for the tree in the spring to make fruit that we can eat. But I was going to say that during these weeks within eclipses and all of the scorpionic, all the planets that will be in Scorpio, it's also a good time if you can afford to go to a therapist, or you don't have time to, or whatever, just go for a walk in nature and look at what nature is doing. Look at what nature is doing. Sit down, look at the trees, the leaves are falling down, the leaves are turning brown, and sort of just be in that. And I think that will just help you go inwards. Just do what nature does.
I love that. That feels so good. Such a great suggestion. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's a little intense, but then on the 28th we have the full moon and the lunar eclipse in Taurus. So we talked a little bit about that. And then what else we got after that? Anything else?
Then we have, let's see. Well, October 28th also, we have Mars opposite Jupiter on the same day, on the full moon chart. October 28th, the same day as the lunar eclipse, Mars will be opposite to Jupiter. So that just tells me, like, even more bigness and even more activity sort of within this lunar eclipse chart.
That feels like excessive spending. Be
Yeah.
careful on your expenditure that day. Your ego might
Yeah.
be using Mars's or Jupiter's energy to like, I don't know. I have a picture in my head that I can't like get out in words, but I see this little guy that's like, maybe we're gonna play big, like go to the casino or something. We're gonna win
Yeah.
big, right? And all of a sudden, like you just lost all your money at the
Mm-hmm.
casino. And this is not something you normally do, not behavior you normally do.
Yeah. And I feel like that also like don't spend it all when it comes to your energy. Like that
Yeah.
could be excessive spending of your energy. Like Mars is so much also that, like, you know, the drive that you have, and Jupiter, it blows things up, so it can be excessive. Excessive, like you don't put out too much energy, and this happens on the lunar eclipse, so you might feel like you want to, like, I don't know, go for a huge run or just take yourself out physically.
Maybe you're too. That would be like for me. I'd be too optimistic about the things I can do in a day, and I just
Yeah.
process food all day and do the baby and do this and that, and I just go all day, and then it's 10:30 at night, and I just crash, and the next day I can't function.
Mm.
That
But
would be how I would do it.
yeah, but like now when you know, like so let's say this is tomorrow, let's say the lunar eclipse is tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're not going to plan all of those things for that day, right?
No. No.
No.
That's why I started putting this stuff on my calendar.
Yeah.
I literally write it on my paper calendar. I still use one of these. I pencil it in there. And then once I have like my things planned or in there, then I'll plan when I do certain classes, when I do certain events, and when I will like close for the day and not take clients. Like I literally started doing this about 6 months ago. It's been
Mm.
really nice actually to
Mm.
plan around the flow of the energy and knowing that that's a day that I'm probably not going to want to do a lot here, but maybe I'd want to put my energy here. Then maybe I'll, cancel these things for the day and I'll focus on X, Y, and Z over here. So for me, it's putting it in my calendar so that this stuff actually makes sense in my life and put a little note, right? I'll even
Yeah.
put there, okay, Mars opposite Jupiter. Okay, you can certainly put that, but that might not translate in your head, right?
Yeah.
But maybe instead of that, you put be careful with energy expenditure, right? Or
Exactly.
mindfulness around your energy, mindfulness around the expenditure of your energy and not overdoing it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good
Yeah.
things to have just kind of noted in your calendar.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's great. I also feel about these eclipses, like the energy that has been described to me, I would translate that as it if you put firework in like a metal tube,
Yep,
you don't know where the sparks are going to fly, right?
correct.
That's sort of the energy of the lunar eclipse.
I like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Nothing
One
less
thing
than
I
that.
did see too, we didn't mention, I just want to bring up real quick is October 10th, Pluto goes back direct at 27 degrees Capricorn.
Goodness me, really?
Yes. So this will be his last trek through Capricorn for the next
Oh,
240 years.
pork.
So
Hey.
goodbye to Pluto in Capricorn as he starts to make his way out. And then in January, he'll make his way into Aquarius permanently in our lifetime anyway. And that'll be a
Wow.
20-year thing. So we'll do a big old thing on that. But
Yeah.
that happens
Yeah,
October
we need to
10th.
talk about that because because
It's a big
in
deal.
in your country you had your Pluto return. At what degree is it? Do you
We'll
remember?
look. Let's
We'll
do
look at, yeah,
like
okay,
a
we need to
history
do this.
course on
Yeah.
astrology history course because I'm really curious
Yeah, let's do a
about
Pluto
the timelines of
checkup.
our country and stuff. Yeah, we'll have to do a Pluto thing in Aquarius
Yeah.
coming up. Well, it looks like an active October. Lots of things happening. So add some things to your calendar. I know I will. Be patient and kind. Go with the flow of the energies.
Mm. Yeah.
And yeah. enjoy your month of October.
I mean, I always feel like when there's a lot of activity in the ether, like in the energies, then that is really telling you to, you need to sort of be still to handle all of that activity. You need to process it. So whenever we say there's a lot of activity, that means please be still when you can.
Breathe. Go back to your breath. Go back to your breath, drink some water, sit on the earth, and just be for a few moments. I'm not saying live out there and do that, nothing else, right? Just do that. But I'm saying exit your house for a moment, sit in the grass and go to a park, sit on a bench, drink some water, take some breaths. I'm taking this advice right now. I need this advice for me. I'm actually talking to myself. Literally. Well, thank you for tuning in today. We appreciate your support. Should you feel like financially supporting us, you can buy us a tea or a coffee, and that will go to the production of our show and pay our bills. So we always appreciate that. And thanks so much. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ram and Goat Astrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.